Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of our podcast, Bit of Everything. My name is Ratish.
And my name is Tom. And so we called it a bit of everything because we're just going to talk about really anything we want to. We wanted to not keep it too specific, wanted
Yeah.
to be able to talk about any general subject we could.
Right, we're
keep
not
it
really
interesting.
experts on any specific thing, so we're just going to talk about what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were we going to talk about today?
Today we were going to talk about just life after college, because I think that's the thing that's been on our mind the most and the thing that we have the most experience with. We were just going to go through a couple things, just what life is like after college, what we do after college, some good habits that we try and develop, and if we think college can prepare us for the real world or not. So a little bit about myself, and then Tom can go next. But again, my name is Ratish. I graduated from the University of St. Thomas 2017. It's been like almost 2 years now. It's really
That's
weird.
really weird.
It's so
That's
weird.
so weird.
They're doing the Tommy Award. They're doing the Tommy Award again. It's like the second cycle of it. It's freaking me out.
Wait, what do you mean?
They have the nominations out and everything,
Oh, that's right. They do like the
like the pre-nominations.
they like nominate students like who are seniors for like you were the best student on campus.
Yeah, good job. Here's the thing. You get your name on the wall.
Do you get anything for it? Do you know?
Yeah,
Or
right.
is it just like your name on the wall?
I think you get something, but I don't know what it is because I was never up for it, so I didn't care, I guess. But I graduated from the University of St. Thomas in 2017. I had a degree in finance. I was a business major, so as you know, I worked just as hard as engineering students. Sorry to all of those listening, that's not true. Yeah.
How much calculus did you do? Did you go through Calc 4 for finance? And
Yeah, I did Calc 1, and then I stopped forever.
that was my thing. So
Yeah.
I also went to the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, and that's where Ratish and I met. We actually just met kind of junior year, but really became friends senior year. And I majored in supply chain management. I graduated in 3 years instead of 4 because I did a bunch of community college stuff before I went to college. So I did a bunch of community college in high school.
I would highly recommend that. You save so much money.
Yeah, you
I
do.
did not do that.
Yeah, you really do. And so what that allowed me to do was be really lazy because junior and senior year, which technically were my second and third years, I took 12 credits a semester instead of 16, which was super easy. So I had like 3 classes a week. And with the business school at the school we went to, we could have classes Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, basically. So I made my whole schedule either Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday. So I had
remember
I had like 5 days off a week,
Well, I had
which is way
yeah.
different than work now, where I work 5 days a week
Oh,
and I
God.
have 2 days off.
Yeah,
So-
I did kind of the same thing where I had this class where the professor said attendance was not mandatory and all the tests were take
That's the
home.
worst thing you can ever say to a student.
No. He's all like, I think he also said that like this class starts slow and tapers off. So I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm just never going to be here. And all the tests were take home too. So I just didn't have to
What
go.
class was this?
It was financial intermediaries. I learned absolutely nothing.
Finance was the worst class I ever took.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know who my professor was. I don't remember the name. He'd been teaching forever. He'd never changed the tests. I literally actually tried to pay attention. I was like, finance could be like a really important class for me to take to learn about
It
like
should be,
investing
yeah.
and like that kind of stuff. I learned absolutely nothing, no matter how hard I tried. I almost failed the first exam, and thank God that one of my friends in the class figured out that this guy had not changed his tests in 20 years. So we found someone who had taken the class before. They had all the old exams. This is the only class in college I ever cheated in because I had to. I would have failed it. I would have gotten an F if I hadn't. As it was cheating, I had all the tests. So we had 4 tests. The first one I almost failed. Next 3 I had the answers for, and I still got a C in the class.
Oh my gosh. How?
Because so the tests were like 20 questions, and we only had 15 of the questions on each of the tests.
Right.
Like we only had 15 of the answers. The other 5 questions were like essay questions that the person we got the test from had written the answers to those on a different piece of paper, so we didn't have the answers for
Oh,
those.
okay. Got it.
So even though we had the questions, that's how little we learned in the class. Even though we had the questions, we had no idea how to like.
How to
2 weeks leading up
yeah.
to the exam, we couldn't figure out the answers to the questions.
That's so crazy.
So, and that might have been our own fault. Maybe I was just dumb. I could have just been stupid. But
I think, well, I had like a different experience in finance, but it's weird because like, so I had the same professor for the first 2 finance classes I took, and I hated them. I did horribly in those classes. And I was like, do I even want to do this as a major? But then I took like every other finance class that was like required by the school, and I got like A's in those. So I felt like it was just a professor. I know everyone says that, but this time I think it really was just the professor.
yeah,
So-
no, I agree because like it sounds like it should be an interesting class.
It
And,
really
like,
should be. And like it depends on the professor because I had a friend that took, I think he was like a marketing or ops major or something, and he took a finance class with a professor that I had later. He took like the intro to finance class, and he's like, I wanted to change my major to finance because of the way the guy taught it. And I was like, I wish I could have taken it with him because I would
Yeah.
have had much more passion
Yeah.
about like my field. But
That's how I felt about my marketing class. My original major was I was going to double major. I was going to go for 4 years because I was in Air Force ROTC when my freshman year. So because I had a scholarship with them, I couldn't just do 3 years really. So I was going to do 4 and double major. So I was going to double major in marketing and ops. And I took my first marketing class. And I was like, "There's no way in hell I am doing
no,
marketing."
yeah, no, I was the same way. I was like, I want to do marketing, and then I looked at finance. I was like, this seems better for me.
Yeah.
So
And now I've met all the marketing people where I work. I hesitate to say this, but thank God I didn't.
that's
that
funny.
the one person I was telling you about this week
Yeah.
that was like, we missed you at
Was she in marketing?
marketing.
Oh, that's amazing. It's good.
One thing, this is life after college. You go to work all day,
Yep. 8 hours.
8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. If you have, I mean,
If you have
depends
a
on your commute, you know.
Right. Well, because for me, it's like, so 8 hours there for sure. And then, well, technically 8.5. If you count lunch, you're not paid, but you're still there.
Yeah.
Then you have your commute. So for me, it's about half an hour each way, maybe like 45 minutes total. I'd say in the morning it's quicker. So I'm there for about, let's see, yeah, a long time, basically.
Yeah. But then sometimes you have this thing where you work with these people all day, and I'm just very cynical about it because I'm fairly antisocial, I suppose. I mean, like, that's the weird thing about me is I'm like really, really, really introverted if I don't know you very well, and I'm really, really, really extroverted
Yeah,
if I
I've
know you really well.
noticed.
So it's the weirdest combination. I don't understand why I'm like that, but so I don't like work events. Like,
Okay.
the biggest thing I dread in the world is like the office Christmas party. I'm like, there's no way,
Really?
there's no way in hell I want to
Yeah.
go to that. But anyway, so I had like this 3-day team meeting this week, and afterwards we were in a room for 10 hours. We went overtime on a 3-day meeting, which I was like,
That's like, that shouldn't be allowed. That's
Yeah.
like, that's like when your agenda
Yeah.
fails. You should not be going
Yeah, I was like-
overtime on a 3 full day.
oh yeah,
meeting.
oh yeah. And then they wanted to do a team event after that and like go to like an escape room and stuff, which I'm like, great, sounds fun.
Yeah.
But I was in a room with you guys for 10 hours.
This
and
was
I don't wanna
enough.
go.
I wanted to escape the room I was in.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
Yeah, so I made my excuses, said I wasn't able to go. I also wasn't happy I didn't go because it was snowing, so I
Yeah,
didn't want to drive in
it
that.
was a little gross that day.
And then I get there the next morning, and someone goes, "We missed you at the team building event." Like, if you wanted me to be at your team building event, have your team building event during working hours.
Yeah, right. Or don't have like a 10-hour meeting where I spent the whole day with you.
Yeah.
And then make me go to this other thing.
I'm happy that after spending 10 hours with me, you wanted to spend like 3 more with me. I'm flattered, but
Right.
I didn't want to spend that time with you.
What's funny is just me bring up the Christmas party because you said you'd want to avoid that. But on the contrary, at my job, I'm like one of the 3 people planning it. So I think there's like 2 different people. For me, I think I like work events. I just like being social, no matter like who it is. It makes me happier. Which I don't really come off that way if I don't know them that well. But like I really just like going to work events like that.
Yeah.
It's super fun to me. Like if there's like a happy hour, there's no sort of culture like that at US Bank. But oh yeah, I work at US Bank, by the way, if I didn't mention that. But
Corporate shill.
Oh yeah, you know it. Give me my check. Give us our check. But no, yeah, I love work events like that. So if there's like a happy hour like that, I would totally go. I wouldn't organize it because that's a lot of work, but I would totally
Yeah.
go if there
Yeah.
was one.
Yeah, and that's the other thing for me. Like I said, I'm really introverted if I don't know people super well. And so the way my team is structured, I work with like 2 people super closely,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like 50 other people who are technically under the same umbrella, but we have nothing to do with each other like 11 months out of the year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so when we have an event, it's all those people. I'm like, I don't know any of these people.
Right, right.
So it's like, it's a little weirder there. Because like
Yeah.
I do like with the people, like hanging out with the people that I work really
For sure.
closely with. 'Cause-
Yeah.
But I also don't have like, do you have people who are like your age that you work with?
I have one other person.
We're like 22, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm 23 now, but
He just turned 23.
yeah, it's
Happy
crazy.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you. It's weird. It's really weird, actually. No, there's like one other person on my like in our little group that I see on a regular basis that I think is my age. I haven't been like, hey, dude, how old are you? But it seems like he's my age.
Yeah.
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 But other than that, no, everyone's like has kids, and I was like, yep, it's just me.
I had a guy. I think this was when I was an intern. I was 20, and he goes, "So you're like 25, right?" I was like,
No.
"No, I'm an intern." And he knew I was an intern.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm 20." He's like, "You're 20? I thought you were 25." I was like, "No." He's like, "My son." So sad. He goes, "There's no way in hell my son would have been anywhere near a job at your
Oh my
age."
gosh, that's awful.
I was like, "Okay."
Don't say that about your kid.
Yeah, all right. Oh, but anyway, so life after college. Well, what was college like for you aside from, we talked about majors and stuff.
College was really fun. It was like I find college I separate into like 2 different like parts. The first half was like before being an RA, and the second half is after being an RA. Because before being an RA, I have a lot of things I could say about res life, which I won't. But
I think we should talk about that at some point.
we'll do a whole podcast about our time in res life, I think. But
'Cause I think it's the same everywhere, to be honest.
yeah, oh, it definitely is. But so before I joined res life, I felt like I really didn't know what I was doing, even though I acted like I did. I didn't really know how to talk to people. Definitely didn't know how to like make new friends or anything like that. Things just kind of happen, freshman year. Everyone's just trying to like meet new people, so you just kind of get into that zone, and then that's how you meet people. But me, it was just like really hard. So that was like freshman and sophomore year. Where sophomore year, I was a little better at it. Started talking to people in my class. But then junior and senior year rolled around, and being an RA kind of forces you to like be in the spotlight and be an extrovert. So after that, that's when like I really enjoyed college the most, even though res life was stressful. Just like being in that space and being in like a leadership role was like super fun to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being around people my own age, that's huge.
Yeah, for me, I kind of feel the same way about that. Like my first year, I was in ROTC, so I had like those guys to hang out with that I was in ROTC with freshman year. And then so I didn't live on campus freshman year, so I didn't like meet all the people in the dorms and like make friends that way. And because I had taken community college classes, I was in like junior level classes my freshman year. So like the people I was in class with too were like
Juniors.
2-3 years older than
Yeah.
me, and I mean they weren't inviting me to their parties or anything.
Nope.
So yeah. And then second year I was an RA, and third year I was an RA, and that was really cool because like I met so many people, not just like the RAs, the other RAs, because there was like 90 other RAs, and with all the crap we had to do, like we all got really close. I think.
Yeah,
the vast majority of us felt like pretty close.
Yeah, we were all in like the same boat, I'd say. It was more, I felt more that way our second year than our first year. I didn't really know any other RAs other than my staff our first year doing it. But second year we had like we had that group me, right? That whole group chat with like all 90 RAs. That was super fun.
Was just really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And excuse me. And then on top of that, like was really like, especially my first year, I had a really good floor of freshmen, and I was basically a sophomore. So I mean, we're all basically the same age, and we all hung out a lot. I had a really good floor. I made a lot of good friends that way that like I'm still friends with now. Second year, not so much. I didn't really do anything. This is awful. I honestly feel bad about this now. Like at the time, I hated I shouldn't say hated my whole floor. There was like a few bad guys on my floor that made everything else suck.
It definitely does. Like if you have more than like 5 bad eggs, quote unquote, on your floor, it can just like change the whole dynamic, and it makes your time living there awful because they're the ones throwing the big parties. So like a bunch of people are coming through, and it's like a Wednesday night and 2 a.m. You're trying to go to bed, and it paints the whole floor in a bad light when it really isn't the whole floor. It's just like a few bad eggs. But
and like I had 40, 50 people on my floor, and I maybe knew like 6 names.
Oh, really?
Like the whole year. And I kind of feel bad about that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's probably guys that I could have reached out to and like helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so weird that you're 18, 19 and a freshman in college and you have a glorified babysitter.
I know, right? Well, that was weird for us too because you were a sophomore taking care of freshmen. You weren't even that much older than them. I definitely wasn't. I was like 19, I think, and then these kids were like turning 19, and I'm just like, okay, well,
listen to me.
Yeah, listen to me. Listen to this like really short guy like telling you what to do.
Do what I say.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no, it was still a good experience. I think it like helps you with like conflict because you don't really deal with conflict on a regular basis, but when you're an RA, it kind of happens like every weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to get you comfortable with that, which I think was really nice.
Yeah, that was really good. I remember we'll do a whole thing on it. I want to move on from the res life thing because I have too many stories I'll get into.
Yeah, same.
So how do you feel that college prepared you for like life after college?
I think socially it prepared me really well. Socially it helped me like develop people skills. I feel like after being an RA for 2 years and after being in that space, I feel like I can really, it's hard. It's not easy. It's still hard for me, but I think I could go and like talk to anybody if I needed to, like at work, I can like start a conversation with anybody and like, it's really nice. Or if they start a conversation with me, then it's easy for me to like continue that. Everything else like lifestyle wise and like studying wise, not that much. All the stuff I do now at work, there's some stuff that has like a basis in finance, like the most basic thing that about finance, like the most like, I mean, I'm doing more accounting right now anyway. I'm in internal audit. So we're doing like debits and credits and stuff. So that's not even finance, that's accounting. Finance is more like investing and stuff. I don't really do that in my daily job, And the stuff that I do have to like know off the bat, I have a computer in front of me. So if I just
Google it.
Yeah, if I didn't know anything, which is a lot of the time, I'll just Google it or I'll ask somebody and they'll tell me. So I think college, like the class, it's just there to prove that you have like not even a good work ethic, you have a work ethic, you know? Because if you graduate with like C's, but you like get like if you get into a job and you're not doing grad school, then you're kind of set.
Yeah, but for sure. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I mean, college allowed me to be lazy because I don't want to say I was super lazy. I did work hard leading up to college, which allowed me to be lazy in college, I guess. Because I was taking a lighter course load. But on top of that, like even if I had taken that lighter course load, like if my classes had been challenging, I would have been busy.
Yeah.
But like my classes weren't that challenging, so I never had a lot of homework. I had like, again, we had class Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, and then 5 days off in between.
Yeah.
Which was great. Awesome. I mean, college a lot of fun, but like, did it prepare me for what it was supposed to prepare me for, which was you go to school, get a good education, get a good job, which a job is 5 days a week, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I had 5 days off a week in college. Like that did not prepare me.
That'll never happen unless you're retired.
For the real world. And like, do I use my major? Well, no. I mean, I am in a supply chain role, but I don't use my major because everything I learned was just like
on the job, right?
Yeah.
Like all the stuff I learned is very like there's like general skills I learned in auditing, which I'm really grateful for. But as far as like college stuff goes and like the actual the things you learn from a textbook, like you don't really use any of that.
Yeah. And like, great. The terminology, is about the same. But I don't have a proposition for like how colleges could do it better aside from like workload and teaching you to work 5 days a week kind of, but like in terms of course content, I don't really know because it's so specific between businesses.
Yeah.
Like the way one business does supply chain stuff and another, they use maybe the same terminology, but the way they do stuff is very different. So you can't really teach around that.
Right.
And so, yeah, they try to teach the general stuff, which then ends up being like, well, okay, I learned the general stuff, but was it worth 4 years of my life? Probably not. I could have learned that in a year on a YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly. I think what college really should be for, and this is just me like spitballing, this is me like saying my own opinion, but I think they should do more focus on like hands-on like projects and like group projects.
Yeah.
And just getting like applying the source material as opposed to just like throwing a test at you.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're really doing at work. You're like taking like a really basic concept and you're just like distilling that even and then like tossing it to, you know, like some sort of task that you're doing at work. And doing projects like that, I think would really help people kind of get in that mindset of this is like, you know, I learned this thing and this is how I'm going to apply it at work. And even if you don't really apply the exact thing, it can still kind of get you in the mindset.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that too is tests are so stupid.
I hate tests.
Like I understand, yeah, I want to test your knowledge. But at the same time, if I'm at work and I need to know whatever I need to know, I have something to look it up on. You know, I look it up on my computer. If I don't know it off the top of my head, I use a calculator if I need to. Like any math course where it's like you can't use a calculator with this test. Screw you.
Yeah,
this is
honestly,
math.
right? You need a calculator.
And
well,
if I was doing math in the real world, I wouldn't go, I wonder, should I not use a calculator for this problem?
The thing is, like, if
if engineers who make planes and stuff are like, I'm doing this math in my head, I don't want to fly in your plane.
Exactly. If I ever told my boss, like, oh yeah, I didn't look up anything. You gave me this term and like I thought I knew it and I just did it based off memory and I got it wrong, he would get so mad at me. You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if I got it right, he'd be like, yeah, just can you please like fact check your work? Because like you have a computer in front of you. But yeah.
Yeah, I was using Microsoft Excel, but I just calculated this stuff in my head and then wrote it down. I didn't use any formulas.
No, of course not, because that's what we were supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Calculators are bad. But yeah, so that's how we feel about like college preparing you. But we can talk about like lifestyle after college too, like what we do after work. Because
we don't go to our team building events.
No, we don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
I should.
Right. But for after work, it's more like, for me, the way I view the time after work is kind of just that time's my own. Work is work. You know, I can't really like do much of like personal development there unless it relates to my career. Like I can't be like reading at work, even though I really, really wish I could.
Yes.
Yeah. Because sometimes you get like, right now I'm pretty busy, but like sometimes if you get downtime, I would love if I could just like pull out a book and just read, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be so great.
Yeah. No, that's how I feel too. Like there are times obviously you're super busy and there's times you have absolutely nothing to do. And like maybe there's some companies out there where it's like, okay, they'll allow it if you want to go read.
Yeah.
But
it seems like kind of frowned upon at most corporate places.
I would just feel weird breaking out a book at my desk.
Yeah, I would too.
Like 3:00 in the afternoon, nothing to do till 5.
Right.
But I just break out a book.
Yeah.
Like
for the last.
You're not on a lunch break. You're not.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
just chilling at your desk reading,
Yeah.
and like it would be great. That would be awesome. Like read a personal development book.
Right.
And
or even
like,
read something like related to your job.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah,
you can't really do that.
Bring one of your old textbooks.
No, I'm not opening those things again. But yeah, after work, basically like I said, your time's your own. So I try and just like do personal development stuff. So I try and work out every day. I try and read, but I've not been good at it. I also kind of do some research on my own, whether it be like things I'm working on. Like I started drawing again. So I draw, by the way. So like I started drawing again, just doing stuff like that, like keeping hobbies to kind of keep you occupied, you know, and kind of cultivating that sort of like skill.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that you can easily just fall into a trap of I come home from work and I'm super tired and now I don't want to do anything. And like that's the worst thing you can do is say I have no free time to do the things I want to do at work. And when I come home from work, I'm too tired to do the things I want to do after work. So therefore, I do nothing that I want to do.
Yeah, because like that just sounds not fun. Because like that was basically what I did when I first started working, which I think everyone should do, to be completely honest. I think for like, at least that's how it worked for me, where like the first, like I think it was month or so, where I would I would come home from work and I would just like reread Harry Potter and then I would go to bed.
Yeah.
And like it was fine, but after a while I got like so bored where I'm just like, okay, I need to like do something with myself because like I can't do this for 40 years and
Yeah.
then retire.
Yeah, you got to have a life outside of your job or
Yeah. And living weekend to weekend I don't think is a good idea either because that's 2 days out of the week and you have 5 days where you could be doing something.
Yeah,
So.
man, I try to live holiday to holiday.
Oh, really? Getting 11 days off in like 2 weeks. I can't wait.
Oh, man. Holiday break.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Thanksgiving break was too short.
Yeah, 4 days. Oof.
But yeah, I think it's very important to find stuff productive to do after work, like for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to be like, I was productive for work all day, and now I just want to chill.
Yeah.
And like, that's so easy to do.
Right.
One thing I heard like yesterday, and I think you watched like the Joe Rogan podcast with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I
that
watched
just
like
came out,
part of it.
and they were talking about like, the best thing to do in like your 20s is to just push yourself as far as you can go. Like, how hard can you work straight for like how many hours straight can you just work hard?
Yeah.
Like, can you work 3 hours? Can you work 6 hours, 8
Mhm.
hours? Like, how hard can you work? How many days in a row can you work? How late can you work? How early can you get up? How fast can you go?
Yeah.
And push your limits and see where they are. And they didn't really talk about it because they were just talking about finding your limits. But to me, like, great, find your limit and continue to push it to grow your limit, right?
Yep.
And like, yeah, you don't want your life to be all about work, but you got to figure out what your goal is and what you're working towards. Because
Yeah.
for me right now, if I just worked at what I was currently doing for my job, I don't know what I'm working for other
Yeah,
than the
exactly.
paycheck, because my paycheck's not going up.
No, it's
You
not.
know?
Yeah.
And you got to find something like goals to set to work towards.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you're working towards, you're not going to work hard. That's what
Right.
I found. Like,
yeah.
if I don't know why I'm doing something, like I was in this 3-day meeting this week and it was hell.
Mhm.
And it would have been fine if it was interesting and relevant to me, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why I was there. And that's what made it hell. I was
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
why am I sitting here?
Like,
Why am I
I
wasting
don't
my
need to know
time?
this.
Why
Like, I
am
don't
I
need to
doing
be here.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you need to know. I think that's the biggest thing that you need to find out is why you're doing something.
Yeah.
And find good goals, set good goals, create good habits around that goal. And that's not something I've been super good at.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I want to get better at. Like you talked about reading.
Yeah.
I try to read good personal development books and stuff every day, and I don't always.
Mhm.
But like the days I don't, it wasn't because I didn't have time. It was because I was lazy and
Yeah.
didn't do the thing that I said I was going to do.
Right. Exactly.
Which is just annoying when I look back and go, why didn't I
Yeah,
do
because
that
like
that
when you
day?
go to bed at night, you're probably gonna have some thoughts. You're gonna be like, "Oh, great. Well, I was gonna do that, but I have literally no good reason other than I wanted to play PS4."
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have so much more self-respect when I set a goal and say, I'm going to do this every day.
And then you
and
do it.
You do it. And you
Yeah.
actually do it.
Yeah.
And you do it for a month. And you go, wow, I just did that for a month.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I bet I could do it for 2.
Right.
I
and
bet
then
I
you
could
just
do
keep,
it for 3.
and
And
you
you keep going.
And then
And
it
then
just
you have a
becomes
day where you don't
yeah.
do it.
And you're like,
And you have
"What's
another
that?"
day where you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you go, well, why didn't I do it? And
Right.
you had no reason.
Yeah.
But you just got lazy. And that's how I've been with my reading before.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's not great, but it's also like that feeling that you get when you don't follow through of like being guilty is like good. It's
Yeah.
good that you get that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get that, that just means you have literally no character at all.
Right.
Because
yeah.
you don't
or,
care that you didn't
yeah.
follow through on your commitment.
Or you just don't care about the commitment that you did.
Yeah.
Then that point you need a new commitment because if you don't care, if you're like trying to set a commitment because you think it's good, but then you
Yeah.
still don't follow through and you don't care, then you clearly don't care about the commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too. But like, it's so easy to get like hyped up about something, like
Oh, yeah.
working out. Like, I'm gonna get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if I would say that being healthy is important to like everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but you see so many people walking around that don't treat it like it's important to them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of overweight people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that they don't want to be healthy. It's just easier to not be healthy,
Yeah, that makes sense.
right? It's like, yeah, I want to be healthy, but I don't want to work out
Right.
because I don't feel like it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I found. Like everything that I want to do that's probably good for me is like not something
Yeah.
I would want to do. I'd rather sit in my bed and watch YouTube.
Yeah, but like that's not life.
That's not life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is like, for me, like, so I've been, for the past like few months, I've been trying to work out every day, and usually like I'll be able to do it, or if I don't, then like I'll do double the next day or like whatever. But like the hardest thing with that, and like what actually helps a lot, is like the hardest thing is going every day. But if you actually go every day, then you start building discipline, and it gets to the point where like you can apply that discipline to like other areas in your life, which is like a really good thing to have, because like discipline means that, not that you're motivated. Your motivation is like really fleeting, but discipline will like stay with you forever, you know?
Yeah.
Because you actually want to do something and you have trained yourself to be able to go and do that thing every day, which is good for like working out. It's good for really any like good habit, which is just like cultivating that. And that I think comes from building discipline for cultivating a good habit, comes from trying to achieve like a specific goal. And if you don't have that goal in mind, then you won't really know what you're working towards, and everything kind of just falls apart. So I think like the main thing to like keep in mind, at least what helped me, was like just having like a goal sheet. Like I literally have a document on my computer called like life plans, and I wrote down like, even if it's like the most outlandish thing, like I would write down like, this is a goal that I want, and then I write down like, okay, how can I get there? And then I'd write like A, B, like I'd write down steps, and it's like, okay, how do I achieve these steps? And it keeps going down, down until to like where I am now. And I'm like, okay, so what's the next thing I can do? Or what can I do now to achieve this, to get to like the next step, to get to the next step, and then to finally get to that goal, which is like hard. It takes a lot of self-reflection, but like, I really think anybody can do that if you just sit down and think like, what do I want? Because like, I feel like most people know what they want, and if you don't, then that's something for you to figure out, and no one really can help you do that, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so easy to do if you're willing to just be consistent and set good goals and find the steps that you need to do to follow through on those goals. It's an easy thing to do, but it's also like the easiest thing. There's so many things that can distract you.
Oh yeah.
Now, like video games and YouTube and
you can set time
whatever.
aside for those things if that's something that like gives you value, or even if that value is like entertainment or like relaxation,
which is great, but use it as a reward.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Use it as a reward, or use it in moderation, you know? Like there's no reason to like cut it out completely, and there's absolutely no reason to just do entertainment all day.
Yeah.
You know, finding that moderation can like help lead a fulfilling life, or at least it has for me.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. And especially like, I mean, do I want to be a 35-year-old dad with kids who still plays Nintendo? Probably not. Like, unless I'm playing with my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but like, I don't want to be the 40-year-old guy. Did you know, I think I heard the other day that the average age of a Nintendo player is like something in like the late 30s.
Really?
Yeah, like actually.
Wow.
And I was like,
I'm like already getting bored of Nintendo. I know I just bought a Switch and everything, but like,
yeah.
I like Pokemon and stuff, but like sometimes I'm just like, man, this is not for me.
But like video games in general, I'm talking like, I don't want to be 40 years old and be the video game guy. Like I mean, like, there's better things to life. Like, it's great. Especially like when you have nothing to do. But if I'm 40 and I haven't gotten to the point where I have a lot of things to do and a family and that kind of stuff, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
because I think it's like, if I was older, like let's say
I want to be
40.
raging on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
when I'm
right.
40.
You're not gonna be like yelling at 12-year-olds like on COD or anything. But I think it's like, if I was that age and I am able to play video games, I feel like I would probably have a different mindset about it. It wouldn't be like how I am now. Like right now, I could sit down and play like I just bought Spyro. So like I got it as a gift. I didn't buy it, but I just got Spyro. So like I could sit down and play it for like 2 hours, and like that's because I don't really have anything going on for those 2 hours. If I'm 40 and I have like a family, like I really hope I'm not just sitting in the living room for 2 hours playing Spyro while my like wife and kids are out doing stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. Honey, bring me my my chicken tendies. No, I agree. I just think that you have to be very careful about distracting yourself from life, because I don't want to be like negative about it. Like work is good. You need to have a work to do. But at the same time, for a lot of people, like someone was asking me the other day, they go, "Are you fulfilled by your work?" And I thought about it. And my answer was no. And I thought that that was bad.
Yeah.
And I was
Because
like,
you're there for 40 hours a week.
yeah, should you be fulfilled? Well, then I thought, should I be fulfilled by my work? And I thought, maybe not,
Why not?
because the point of the work that I do, so like I work in medical device stuff. So great, I'm helping save lives, but not really. The doctor's doing all the work. We just make the crap. So, yeah, that's cool work to do. If you say you're saving lives, all right, whatever. I don't want to be flippant about it, but the point of my work, anyone could do what I do. Like anyone. Like you teach an 18-year-old kid out of high school to work Microsoft Excel enough, and he can do what I do. He'll figure it out.
Right.
A couple months of learning, just like what I had, because I
Yeah.
learned everything I needed to know on the job anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm just trying to think about this and formulate it the right way. How I was thinking about it, because they asked me, "Are you fulfilled by your work?" And I was like, "No." Like I knew that right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I felt like that was a bad thing, that I should be fulfilled by my work, because that's kind of what I've been taught, is that you should love what you do.
Yep.
And then I thought, well, should I love what I do if it can never love me back, by definition, because they could fire me at any time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So should I love something that will never love me and will fire me immediately if they need
Want
to
to?
or
Yeah.
want to? You know, it's funny. I think most people have it. It's called at-will employment.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're employed at will, like at your will. It means that at their will, they could fire you at any
Yeah.
time.
No, that's exactly what that means.
But anyway, so I thought, should I love something that can never love me back? And I thought, well, no. So love isn't the right word, but I know how people mean it. Like they enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
They're fulfilled by it. Should I be more fulfilled by something that I do all day away from my family than being fulfilled by spending time with my wife and kids when I have a family? No. My family should fulfill me.
Right.
You know, so should I treat something as good that can fire me immediately if they wanted to, that takes me away from my family for 40 to 50 hours of my week, and where anyone could do what I do there, but not anyone could be eventually my wife's husband and my kid's dad?
Right.
No. So that sounds really negative, but you need a job to make money to support your family. And I understand that. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be stupid about it.
Right. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, I don't need to be fulfilled by what I do, and I don't think that should be your goal. I think your goal should not be, I want to be fulfilled by what I do, and that makes sense when you go, I'm going to do this for 40 hours a week for 50 years of my life. Dear God, I hope I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's nothing. I like video games. I couldn't play video games 40 hours a week
No
for 50
way.
years of my life, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that I want to do for 40
Right.
hours a week for 50 years of my life.
Mhm.
And so, I don't know that your goal should be to be fulfilled or by what you do or love what you do. My goal is to make the most amount of money as I can to provide for my family in the least amount of time away from them.
Right.
So I'm not saying don't love what you do or whatever.
Yeah.
My thinking on that, though, was like, I felt bad that I said that I wasn't fulfilled by what I do, but like, I don't need to be. And I'm not the type of person who needs to be, because I know I never will love what I do, no matter
Yeah.
what it is, because...
Right. Because it's taking a time away from other things that you love more.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
again, there's nothing I want to do 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I want to do 40 hours a week.
Right.
I can't think of a single thing.
No, neither can I.
Like,
For me, it's interesting.
like
Like,
hobbies or
yeah.
anything, stuff I love to do, I don't want
Yeah.
to do it 40 hours a week.
no, I don't think anyone wants to do something 40 hours a week. But for me, it's weird because it's like, I don't really view it as like, well, I view it as work, obviously, but it's like, it's two like very separate like sections of my life, I guess. So when I go to work for 40 hours a week, I view that different. I view that like whole part of my life much different than when I'm at home, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm at work, and I don't really, for me, it's like fulfillment and want doesn't really enter into it.
Yeah.
I like what I do. You know, I like going into work. Like it's sometimes it's, it's after a break or something,
Yeah.
or like Mondays, like, oh, I don't want to go in. But like overall, like I like going there. And I thought about this because like sometimes I'll complain about it, but like I still like going in. I still like having responsibilities and doing what I need to do to like help the company or help my team. But it's like I feel like like you said, you don't really need to you don't really need to enjoy it, I guess, or at least I don't
Yeah.
feel like I need to.
I don't.
Even
Yeah, I
though
don't
I
think
do.
about that. So
Yeah.
I'll kind of try to restate it just to make sure I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about when you go into work, you're not thinking about fun and enjoyment.
No, not
You're
really.
thinking about getting your work done and getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically,
Right.
I'm thinking about I'm there to do a job, so wants don't really end into it. Wants don't really enter into it. I'm there to just to like finish my work and do what I need to do. And if I happen to have like fun doing it,
Yeah.
that's great.
Great day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great day.
Yeah.
And like ideally, yeah, in an ideal world, when I go into work, I'm having fun doing what I do, and that's where it is right now. Like I enjoy doing what I do, so I like going into work. In the future, if I ever change jobs, I'm sure there will be a job there when I'm like I'm literally just here for the money, but it's work and I have to go in.
Yeah.
And I want like I doesn't matter what I want, I have to go in.
Yeah.
You know, because like that's what you have to do to provide. So
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree.
mm-hmm.
But money's bad, right?
Yeah, yeah. Money's the root of all evil.
Yeah. I hate when people say that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that right
Yeah.
now. But it's like, oh, it's just a tool. To
Yeah,
use.
it's
like
it's literally what you have to have it. I can't give away all my money because
Yeah.
then I won't be able to live. I need things I want. I have things I want to do, and unfortunately, those things require money.
I've also noticed that most people who don't like money still leave their families for 40 hours a week to go chase it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just like you need it. Like I don't really understand being the whole holier than thou. Like money is just material things. Like yes, but it's something that we need.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Too bad we're material beings.
yeah.
Yeah. So life after college is a lot different than college.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's a lot different. It's not necessarily worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, and there's a lot of responsibility to go with it. That people don't. When I went to college, people were like, "Now you're responsible for yourself." Well, I didn't feel like I had a lot of responsibility.
No,
I
not
just
at
like
all.
went to class and showed up, and it was easy.
Yeah.
But now, like, you really are responsible because you're out of college. It's time to get your life on track.
It's kind of funny because like in high school they like sold college as like this really hard thing. Like college professors like won't accept
Yeah.
this, and you
Yeah.
have to do this, and like all this other stuff. But they didn't tell you anything like that about work. You know, they're like,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't hear a single thing.
Yeah. No.
But in high school, they're like, oh, you can't come in late and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, well, like senior year, I would walk in like 15 minutes late with like a cup of coffee. I was like, what's up?
Yeah.
And I'll just sit down. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's fine. You know?
Did you think that high school was harder than college,
Yes.
like class wise?
Oh, class wise, it's about the same.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was about the same.
Yeah. To me, I thought high school was honestly harder than college, like
Really?
class wise for me.
Yeah, for me, it was like I guess it was hard to say because like you progressed, right? Like I know more in like freshman year of college than I did freshman year of high school, but I was still learning those things for the first time,
Mhm.
I guess. So like it seemed like similar to me,
Yeah.
but it was socially high school was harder, socially college was easier, but academics for me it was equal.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
To me, I found like I had like 2 or 3 classes in college that really challenged me, and
Yeah.
the weird thing is like those were my favorite classes.
yeah,
Like calc, I want to say I hated it, but like it was actually challenging, and when I understood something from it, like I was really excited and enjoyed it.
I cannot say the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think for me though, I had like one of the best professors I've ever had.
Oh, okay,
And
I
that
can do
really
it.
helped. Like
Mhm.
yeah, calc, and it wasn't fun, like always fun, but like when I started to understand things,
Mhm.
like I really enjoyed that because it challenged me. I learned it. I got better at it, and I understood it, and then I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And like I had a class about like creating like different supply chain models in Excel,
Yeah.
and like that was a really challenging class, but I learned a lot, and it was actually the most useful class I've ever taken.
Mhm.
And that was like my favorite class I've ever taken, high
Yeah.
school, college, whatever, because it challenged me and it was fun.
Right.
Great professor. So like to me, the classes that challenged me were always my favorite.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes sense.
I mean, and then like the classes that didn't challenge me were either really boring or it was something like
Busy
My
work.
like I did like a freshman lit class that was like about Mars. Like we were reading all these different books about like space travel.
It was a class
and
about
stuff,
Mars, like a
It
freshman.
was like a
lit
freshman lit
just
class
straight-
where all the books we read were like space travel and like
Oh, okay.
Mars and like that kind of stuff. And like that was a really easy class.
That's really funny.
But it was like really fun because we were just like
Yeah,
reading
you're just
fun
reading,
books. Like we
right.
read a bunch of fiction and then we read poetry, the lowest art form.
Oof.
I hate poetry.
Oh, I don't mind it.
I just don't understand. Like it tries to be so. I'm just not deep enough for it. I don't think.
Your mind hasn't been expanded, man. Yeah. I guess I say I like poetry, but then I'm just like, if you're like, hey, name like 3 poems that really spoke to you, I'd be like, I don't know. I haven't read enough.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
There is actually some poetry like Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard that name, but
Yeah, great name.
yeah.
And he wrote something called The Village Blacksmith, and I could not recite any of it to you,
Mhm.
but I remember really liking that poem. I like more like story kind of poems, not like the very deep introspective poems
Oh,
that
yeah.
like mean nothing but mean everything at the same time somehow.
Well, yeah, when they're like deep for the sake of being deep, you know, it's like that classic example you hear of like the curtain is blue and then the author's intent doesn't matter. So the author thought the curtain was like just straight up supposed to be blue, but the lit teacher's all the curtain represents sadness and
Yeah.
everything, and the author's note is no, the curtain's just blue.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. It just kind of I
I-
find that I don't really find value in that.
I
If
had
you
a-
do, it's fine, but I don't.
I had a professor like that for my freshman comp class, and that I really got good at BSing in that class because she wanted all the deep stuff out of the poetry we were reading, and so I just made up all this crap about what the colors meant and this stuff, and she loved it, and I was like, I pulled this out of my thing. I didn't want to swear and
Our
on
first
on
podcast.
our first podcast.
You know what that reminds me of? It's kind of a tangent, but like it reminds me of like Harry Potter when they're in like divination class and they're like making up their predictions.
Yeah,
It's like that, but like with
Oh,
like
it's so
English
true.
class. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you're just like making stuff up and you're just
Yeah.
like, this is probably what it means, and the teacher just eats it up.
yeah, oh yeah. And like the more depressing, the better,
Yeah, I basically.
especially with poetry.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think that was a good discussion.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be a bit of everything. I don't really know what the next topic's going to be. We'll figure it out when we want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll try to upload every Friday.
Yep.
And we just want to talk about random stuff, and hopefully it's interesting to you, because we're just going to talk about whatever's interesting to us at the moment. So
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for tuning in, all 2 of you.
yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening in, and we will see you in the next podcast.
Bye-bye.